Hello everybody and welcome to another Batman review. Today it is Season 1, Episode 27, The Curse of Tut. And this episode has special guest star Victor Buono as King Tut. And I have to say, for the most part, his performance is pretty good. It's kind of an offbeat character, but I think it works for the most part. And this was a pretty solid episode overall. It introduces us to a new villain, King Tut, who will be recurring on the show in the next couple of seasons. And I thought the episode was different enough to work. So we start in a park and we get this giant sphinx. It's like really big, and we hear a woman talking from inside of it, and she basically kind of threatens the city. It's just an introduction to the plot, basically. It was fine. So the commissioner calls Batman and Robin, of course, and Batman knows right away what this is. He explains that this man was a university professor, I believe it is, and he got hit on the head. So now he thinks he's King Tut, and it's interesting that Batman actually has some sympathy for this villain, which is different than most of the other villains in the show. I like that. It kind of adds something to the episode. So we get a scene with Tut where we're introduced to him and his henchmen, basically, and it works fine. King Tut's kind of an offbeat villain, but I thought he was okay. So at this point, Batman and Robin decide the best thing to do is to try and get into the giant sphinx, which is still just sitting there in the park. And of course, we see King Tut's henchwoman is spying on him while he's doing this. It turns out that the sphinx is booby-trapped, so Batman and Robin basically can't get in. And this leads ultimately to a fight with the henchmen. Pretty typical Batman fight, not much more to say about it. So this sets up another scene at the Gotham Museum where it's actually Bruce Wayne that goes. He's basically waiting to see what's going to happen next. And basically a mummy comes to life and kind of collapses. So they bring him to the commissioner's office, and it turns out that it is King Tut. So they call an ambulance because they're not really sure what's wrong with this guy. But it turns out this is a setup to trick Bruce Wayne, who the henchmen then kidnap and tie up and take away in the ambulance. So then we get a scene with King Tut and the henchwoman, and they're in the Sphinx, and this is a pretty amusing scene. Tut's using cue cards to tell her what to say, and they kind of get messed up. I thought that was pretty funny. But basically the main thing about this is that he says he's got Bruce Wayne kidnapped, and he's going to hold him hostage till his demands are met. And he says for Batman or no one else to interfere because he doesn't know Bruce Wayne and Batman are the same person. Obviously, Batman's not going to be interfering right now because Bruce Wayne is still tied up in the back of the ambulance, and you can tell he's trying to get out. But what happens is he basically rolls out the back of it. He basically kicks it open, and now Bruce Wayne is rolling basically down the road, which was a pretty good cliffhanger, different than most other ones, and it looks like he's headed for trouble. So a solid setup episode, not really a great episode, but there's enough memorable things, and the episode is unique enough for me to think it's worth watching. So I'm going to give The Curse of Tut a 3 out of 5. Definitely an interesting episode that I think fans of the series will enjoy. So a 3 out of 5 for The Curse of Tut, and as always, thank you very much for watching.